Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Kathleen and I'm here today with another tier ranking, and this time I am tier ranking superpowers. So the tiers for this one is, at the very top, would trade my soul. These are the superpowers that I want the very most. Below that is cool, pretty self-explanatory. These are cool superpowers, but I'm not gonna go making deals with the devil for them. Below that is it a trap? And these are superpowers that I'm kind of suspicious might actually be curses. And then below that is there's a better version of this. So these are the superpowers where you can accomplish the same thing better with a different superpower. And at the very bottom, we have no thanks. These are the superpowers that I just am not interested in. So starting off with a really obvious one that I actually kind of talk about a lot, and that is my deep, undying desire for the ability to fly. This is my number one superpower always, and I would most definitely trade my soul for it. After that, we have a superpower that belongs to my favorite superhero, but one that is not as impressive, and that is Spider-Man's precognition. And you know, certainly this is cool. It would be nice to have the spidey sense to know to like duck when there's a sports ball heading your way for no reason because you don't play sports. But at the same time, I'm not gonna go trading my soul for this one. After that, we have my first one that I think might be a trap. And that's mind reading. Do we really want to know what people are thinking? I think perhaps not. And also it kind of depends on what kind of mind reading we're talking about. If we're talking about it's all just coming at you all at once and you can never turn it off, no thank you. If we're talking about selective mind reading, I could see a little more wanting that one. But overall, I think I would just feel very awkward and guilty if like I knew what someone was thinking and they didn't know I knew. So this one feels kind of like a trap to me, kind of like a curse. After that, we have yet another Superman ability, and that is super strength. And certainly it would not be as fun as flying, but just the convenience level, I would trade my soul. Next, I have yet another superpower that I would trade my soul for. A lot of superpowers land in top tier because they're just very cool to think about having. And this one is invisibility. Would love to be able to turn invisible. I'm quite the introvert, quite shy. If I could just disappear from a situation at any time, would love. After that, we have our very first there's a better version, and that is super speed. What is the better version of super speed, you might ask? It is teleportation. Why get somewhere fast when you could get somewhere instantaneously? So for that reason, super speed, there's a better version. Teleportation would trade my soul. Imagine the time you would save. After that, I have talking to animals, the ability to speak with animals. And I imagine this one would be potentially on would trade soul for any animal lover out there. I quite like animals. They're very cute. Would love to know what dogs and cats are saying. But as an introvert, I also think, is it a trap? If I could talk to animals, would I then become shy around animals? I suspect I might. So feels a bit trappy to me. And then finally, we have our very first no thanks. And that is the ability to change your size, Ant-Man style. And mostly what makes me say no thanks on this one is that I don't think I would want to become small like an ant, because I think I would find it very scary. I have a pretty big fear of bugs, and so if I encountered a bug in my ant size form, I would just die. And then as far as getting bigger, I don't know, I don't really see the use. So no thanks. Next, we have shape-shifting, and this would just be the coolest thing. First of all, shape-shifting could grant you the ability to fly because you could shapeshift into a bird, so that just kind of automatically puts it in would trade my soul. But yeah, just shapeshifting in general would be so cool. But what would be less cool is the superpower that is a less good version of shapeshifting, and that is Elastigirl's superpower of stretching. So this belongs in the category there's a better version of that. Rather than stretching, I would like to just full on be able to shapeshift. After that, I have elemental magic. Fire, water, all the elements, being able to control them. And this one is definitely really cool, but I don't know if it's the would trade my soul level. I mean, certainly there are very cool things you could do with it, and it would be fun to use those powers, but I just don't put it on the level of like being able to fly. And obviously there are also like convenient things you could do with it, like making water boil with a snap of your finger and not having to wait for water to boil to make some pasta. But still, it just for me didn't quite rise to the level of would trade my soul. So I put it in cool. And then similarly, telekinesis, the one where you can like move objects, again, would be very convenient, would be cool, but wouldn't trade my soul for it. So just the cool category on that. After that, I have kind of a very random one, Sonic Scream. I just don't see the use in regular life. In this imaginary world, I'm like the only one with superpowers. And so yeah, Sonic Scream doesn't seem very useful. I'm putting it in no thanks. After that, I have two like eye-centered superpowers in a row. One is X-ray vision, which is very cool. Wouldn't trade my soul for it, but very cool. Probably would be convenient sometimes, but overall, I don't see using it a whole ton. And then after that, we have laser eyes, which just no use for that at all in my mind. So that one goes in no thanks. Next, we have emotional manipulation. Think Jasper from Twilight. And for me, there's a better version of this superpower, and that is mind control, which is one that feels kind of icky to like think about. I think this one a lot of the time is one that villains have. It's not one that I necessarily would use much, I don't think. Like, obviously I'm not using it I wouldn't use it in a villainous way. Like I said, that's icky. But at the same time, like, I can think of instances where it would be nice, like, if someone is, like, being mean to you or something, essentially just using your mind control to make them just go away and, like, leave you alone would be kind of nice. So, very narrow use for me to use mind control, so I put it in the cool category. Again, I think that's the introvert coming out in me. The idea that I want to use it to potentially just make people leave me alone. After that, I have force fields. Again, very cool. Certainly could come in very good use if you like trip and fall down the stairs, force field, and you're fine. So this one's very, again, utilitarian for me. And so I just put it in the cool category. I tend to put the more fun ones in the would trade my soul. Next, I have the superpower of creating illusions. And honestly, I think I would want to use this on myself more so than other people. Like, I think it'd be really fun to come up with really cool illusions and just, like, be in the illusion you've created for yourself. But I don't know if that's how illusionists really typically work. I think usually it's you're placing other people in an illusion, and I don't know if you can see it yourself or not. I don't know how that usually works. So I put this one in the cool category because it would be cool, but at the same time, I would want to, like, use it on myself. And then finally, the very last one that I have is super healing powers. I put this one in would trade my soul just because of how very useful it could be to have in various potentially bad circumstances. Obviously, I would want both super healing for myself and for others. I feel like it's usually one or the other, but in this dream scenario, it's for both. And yeah, that was my tier ranking of superpowers. Let me know down below which superpowers would you want the most? Which ones do you have no interest in? Thanks for watching. Remember, words matter.